G'day, I'm SVEGT and this is Under the Choko Tree. This weekend we were supposed to have the edible garden trail in Sydney. Unfortunately, with the things going on with coronavirus, not going to happen in a physical sense, but the wonderful suggestion was made that we turn it into a virtual edible garden tour, and this is my my entry for what we're doing with that. So have a look around our place and enjoy. This is the view of our place from the street. You can see our nice large mulberry tree there, and down below it we have a hedge of sorts composed of lavender. The large tree on this edge is a bay tree. Moving further round, we have a lily pilly, and then further round we have the feijoa, and then three large Melaleuca alternifolias, the same sort of tree that one gets tea tree oil from. Here's our public seat and street library. And behind the seat is a thornless blackberry, which in the very hot dry weather we've been having took a hiding, but it's come back remarkably well with the rain. The rose, and our coffee bush. Haven't had a lot of it yet. I still hope at some stage in the future get a cup of coffee from it. There's a few insectary plants around, including rosemary. This is our olive. You can see that finally the plants have come on after the rain that we've had, after all the dry weather. I have no idea what type the olive is. It was given to me by my father, who got it from a friend of his. Wouldn't have a clue. It's quite productive. And we'll get 5 to 10 kilos off it depending upon the year, and again, with the way things have been going, we've been doing quite well. This is our fruit tree circle. The fruit tree circle has a number of trees in it, some of which are even fruit trees, but there's a macadamia, kaffir lime, also called macrut. There's a Tahitian lime. There's two compatible apples, so we can get some cross-pollination happening, and a dwarf lemon, and curry leaf tree. In the middle is a worm tower, which we put organic matter in, worms break it down, and the trees send their roots in to harvest the goodies, and on top of it is a beneficial insect watering station. Over on the far south of the property we have a little grove, where on the here we have a blood orange, a fig tree, which again copped heaps but is starting to come back with we've even got some fruit. a lemon tree, sweet potato, and a cow. Okay, native indigo doing quite well at the moment after all the rains. And what we've got here is one of the 2 wicking beds for our asparagus. And also our dwarf nectarine. Yeah, this is one of the small beds which was originally designed to be a wicking bed, but unfortunately it proved to be just too small, so it just runs as a normal raised garden bed with rhubarb and some shallots in it. You will notice around, if you were ever to come here, that there below a lot of the plants you'll see these plastic pipe sticking up out of the ground, and they're part of our watering system. This is what they look like. They're 500 millimeters long, 50 millimeters in diameter, and along one side is a series of holes. That's the side that goes towards the plant, gets buried in the ground, and then when we water into it, it means that the water gets direct to the roots of the plant, rather than watering from the surface, where you find that the water goes in a little bit. The plants tend to send their roots to the surface to harvest it, and that causes problems on hot days. With this system, you put the water down into the ground, their roots go down after it, and it makes them much more drought resistant. Not looking too crash hot at the moment, but this is one of our insectary beds. That's the other wicking bed for asparagus, and it's been colonised and taken over by arrowroot. I was walking past, had some in my hand, thought I'd just put it down, forgot about it, and next thing you know, we've been colonised. This is what's theoretically our herb spiral, but in fact it's actually more like a herb wedding cake. When it was being constructed, a friend of mine brought in a whole stack of tiles which were going to be thrown, so we used that to construct it, but unfortunately it really didn't fit with making a spiral, but it did work out very well making the wedding cake. And we found it to be very productive. We do have in the middle and lower tier leaky hose as irrigation, which we pump water from our 5,500 litre water tank, which is over here. This whole area here is our park area, part of the amenity that we built into the place. Get a lot of good shade in the summer, but the mulberry drops its leaves, so we get sun in winter. This is one of the self-watering insect or bird waterers that we put in. It was very, very popular on those very hot, dry days that we've had. And this used to be our banana circle, and it was just not the right place for the banana circle. It was too dry, not fertile enough, and not enough sun, and the bananas basically stayed to about my height about 6 foot. Didn't get any higher than that, and stayed about a diameter of about 75 millimeters for 10 years. Then we relocated them around the back, and they really took off. I'll show you that a bit later. Also around here we have our native bees. And we had some fun times. The bucket next to it had water in it and a towel over the top of it to keep the temperature down on those really hot, dry days that we've had. We've got a couple of wicking beds over here based on baths, but they are currently, obviously, not in operation. One of the things that I was interested in was getting some extra grey water into our deep pipe waterers, and so I put this little beauty together which sits on top of the deep pipe water and acts as a reservoir. So if you get a bucket full of water out of your sink, you can pour it in there and it just slowly moves into the ground and becomes available for the plants. So that's it for the tour of the front yard. Please stay tuned for the next one of the backyard.